Welcome back to Casual Bias Rugby. This is the official match preview for the Wallabies taking on the All Blacks. And it's in Melbourne for the Bledisloe Cup. There is no game in the rugby calendar that gets me as excited as I am about this one. Outside for when the Boks play. I mean, the rivalry, the passion, the will to win, all those stuff combined. This is a fiery game. Always. It's so unpredictable. You could say the past few years, you could say it was in New Zealand's favour. They've won it a couple of times, but I mean, you still want to you want to tune in for this one. This is a crazy game, hard tackles, hard hits. It's just brilliant to watch. In this video, we'll go through some of the history between the teams. We'll go through some of the comments, especially from Eddie Jones. We'll look at the lineups, have a little bit of a breakdown where each team could get their advantages, could get a head start of the game. And then, obviously, as I'm a gambling man, we're looking to some betting odds. Let's get into it. Before I get right into the history of things, I mean, I said it in the previous video, I am more excited for this game than the Bok game just because of the rivalry. It has been insane. I didn't think I would say that, but I mean, with the comments and everything, I love banter. That's what I do. So looking at the history between the two teams, if you look at the past 5 games, it's all been New Zealand dominated. I mean, if you look at the past 5, 2021 in Auckland, New Zealand got the victory 33-25. The game afterwards, a week later, again at Eden Park in Auckland, 57-22 for New Zealand. Then we went to Perth, 38-21 for New Zealand. And then, of course, the controversial one, the previous time they met in Melbourne, 39-27 for New Zealand with the time wasting. You can have your opinion. Let me know what you thought about that anyway. And then the previous time they met was at Eden Park again in Auckland, 40-14 for New Zealand. So the last time Australia beat New Zealand was in Brisbane in 2020 with a nail biter, 24-22. So if you look at it, it's always New Zealand dominated. And you would say with the scorelines and stuff, but I mean, it doesn't take away any fire of the game. Especially if you look at Eddie Jones's comments. I mean, the simple bet will just be New Zealand. But I mean, you can't doubt Eddie, really, to be honest. I like Eddie Jones. I like the comments. And saying that, let's get into some of the comments. Because the guy is on a mad one. And I love it. And it's part of the game. The game should have more banter. I do enjoy it. You show respect you respect the team internally throughout the match. But you only show them respect at the end of it. So he came out to say, there's nothing better than winning New Zealand because you feel the country sinking. Put the New Zealand Prime Minister on call that the economy is going to suffer. So the Prime Minister's got his fingers crossed. And I love this. Even though you could say it's delusional or whatever, the game needs more of it, more trash talking, respect them afterwards. The press conferences are boring when they just say, oh, we respect them, they're a tough team, it's going to be a tough battle, and in the end, you just get the obvious victory. I don't care about those stuff. I want to see this, grill each other. Literally came out to say, after they lost against Argentina, the All Blacks have to watch out. Now, obviously, you could say the All Blacks are the favourites. But I mean, that doesn't take anything away. That Eddie Jones could have a masterclass. Losing against South Africa, losing against Argentina, and then plucking one out of his asshole to beat the All Blacks is just brilliant. Now, I do like the All Blacks way more than I like the Wallabies. Even though we have a strong rivalry. I just enjoy the way that the All Blacks approach the game and they play the game. But that is beautiful. Beautiful. Anyway, moving on to the lineups. And I mean, You can't miss the fact that, I mean, New Zealand have the upper hand. Coming to the set pieces, if you talk about the scrums and the lineouts, I mean, Ethan de Groot, Cody Taylor, Tyler Lomax, those 3 have been brilliant throughout. They really showcased the class going up against South Africa. You could say they had the upper hand, as I said in the previous video. When it came to the physical battle, I think they won more penalties at scrum time. I can't remember the last time we struggled like that, but I think it was evenly matched. But I mean, to be evenly matched with us is it's an accomplishment on itself. I mean, so Angus Bell, Dave Marecki, Alan Alatua, they've got a big game ahead. Alan Alatua, also the captain, because James Slipper slips to the bench. Moving into the locks, Brodie Retallick, Scott Barrett, I mean, absolute line-out generals, but I mean, Nick Frost, decent player, very quiet against South Africa. Richie Arnold dropped to the bench, started last week, and then of course you got Will Skelton, the absolute beast. Now, with that first five, you got to give the upper hand to the All Blacks. I mean, the way that they dominated Argentina when it came to scrum time was something to witness. And then to know that the Wallabies was dominated by South Africa in the physical battle, it's gonna be a tough night out, to be honest. Moving into the Lucies, Shannon Frizzell. That guy has been absolutely brilliant. My player of the tournament so far. The guy has been extraordinary. Papa Lee gets his start after Sam Cane's injured, and then Ori Sofia, the best player in the world. I mean, going up against Tom Hooper, Jed Holloway, and Rob Valentini. I mean, I just want to know what Eddie Jones was thinking when he dropped Pete Samu out of the squad. Because that, in my opinion, that was just crazy. Tom Hooper there getting his start. Hopefully it's a better first 30 minutes for him, to be honest. I'm laughing and I'm almost writing the Wallabies off. But I said it like in I think it was my first video. You could never write off a team that's coached by Eddie Jones. He just pulls out a masterclass out of nothing, out of thin air. So just looking at the full forwards back, it's just, if I had to pick a combined 8, I'd literally pick all 8 from New Zealand at the moment. But moving into the back line, and this is the difference maker, I feel. Even though New Zealand have got a very, very strong back line, probably one of the best back lines in the world. If you think of Aaron Smith, Richie Mo'unga, Bowden Barrett, Will Jordan, the likes of all of those guys. You got guys that are very hungry for the Wallabies team. And that is Tate McDermott and Carter Gordon, who has really impressed me. Marika Koropetti, who's always a nightmare for us as South Africa. And Andrew Gilloway will want to make a statement. Makes his return. And I mean, to be honest, even though I thought New Zealand had an almost flawless game against South Africa, I think you could take away the fact that if you really go at them, there is points to be scored. And I think that is what Eddie Jones is going to do. Keep that ball alive and really, really attack. Play some attacking rugby. You can't play the kicking game against New Zealand. Now, is that going to work? I don't know. I doubt it. But the All Blacks at certain times did look vulnerable on defense. If I'm not gonna lie. In the first 20, we didn't even have the ball. And their defense was great, but you still can get at it. But saying that, the Wallabies look like you can score a try almost every time you touch the ball. So, I don't know. Samu Gurevi is going to have a massive game. I think he's one of the best inside centers in the world. Let me know where you think the Wallabies could potentially cause a massive upset. This will be one of the biggest upsets that I've seen in a very long time. If this Wallaby team that has been struggling throughout can cause an upset like this. So I'm not even going into the benches. As I said, I would have loved to have seen Samisoni Takiyahu maybe start or get Tamaiti Williams in the squad to start. He isn't even on the bench this weekend. I would have also loved to have seen Sam Whitelock, but I mean, Fozzie just went out and said, listen, I'm taking my best team. I'm winning this silverware. But saying silverware, that is music to Eddie Jones's ears. He loves a bit of silverware and he always fights for it. So don't write them off. Anyway, let's get into the betting odds, the fun part. Let's see if we can make some money this weekend. Anyway, don't think I'm writing off the Wallabies. I'm just saying, it's going to be a tough night out. So it might sound biased, but that's part of the name. I'm actually more biased to South Africa. But we got put in a spliff last weekend. Looking at the betting odds, I mean, if you want to go for an upset, a couple of bucks on Australia gets you a 7 times return, which is madness. Might just try my luck there. Other than that, I mean, I think it's going to be tighter than everyone expects, to be honest. Like, I wouldn't even be... It's so hard to predict. I couldn't judge it anyway. I wouldn't be surprised if New Zealand puts 50 past Australia. I wouldn't be surprised if this ends up as a close game and New Zealand just peaks it. Or even the other way around, if it's a close game and Australia just peaks it and causes the upset. So, What I would do in this game is stay away from it. To be honest, unless you're backing Australia to get the upset victory. But my official prediction for this game is New Zealand to win it by 15 points. That's my official prediction. Don't get mad at me. Tell me what you think about it in the comments down below. This is a interactive community, so we need to start talking in the comments. Anyway, hope you enjoy your night. Hope you enjoyed the video. Subscribe to the channel if you liked it. Like the video. Thank you very much. See you next time.